The new way we believe to help people apply to the ISICS platform. I'm going to debut that. Ethan, if you go ahead and show this. Now, what this site is for is just for joining ISICS, okay? It will have a couple other availabilities, but for right now, it's a registration site, so it'll get you through the first layer of joining ISICS. So you can register, which is a very simple process. You select your agency type. So let's say you're a county sheriff, so you'd say select law enforcement. You come down here and you type in, I'm just going to say Iowa County Sheriff. Please excuse any typing. I'm just trying to do this for a demo. And it's 123 Law Lane. And I don't know. Oops. As you can see, it is user-friendly if I screw up. For county, if I go in here and I select Iowa County, here's the nice thing. I know a lot of you have told me, hey, I don't know my region, I don't know my county abbreviation, or I don't know my county number. I put all those in for you. I tried to make it as easy as possible. I figure if you know your county, I'll fill in the rest. Next step, just put in whoever your agency contact is. And then is this going to be the same person who fills out the rest of the information? You might be, as the sheriff, fill this out, but you have one of your deputies. So you would put in your deputy's information here, and you'd click on no, and then you'd put in your deputy's information as to being the point of contact. This will then generate an email. You'll click it. First thing it'll do is give you your username and password. It'll ask you, once you log in, you'll change your password. And then it will ask you a few additional questions, like, do you plan on using the system for operations or just interoperability? And there will be another question asking you about the number of radios and if you'll be using the system for dispatching. And then there's also a template for the letter of intent and the MOA. All of it's there. You can either click on it and download a Word template. You can click on it and see the other template that's already out there, or you can just copy and paste from the website for the letter of intent. For the MOA, it's a direct download. As soon as you fill it out, print it out, sign it, there's an upload button. You can take a picture of it, you do a PDF, whatever else, you click on the upload, and it's done. You get to the final step, you review all your stuff, and you click on submit, and then your submittal for joining the ISICS platform is complete. Now, where will that go? Right now it goes to IowaNet at iowa.gov so that we have redundancy in making sure that somebody receives your application. There's at least 5 people in the DPS office that receives the email. Then it'll go to the chair and the vice chair to approve or disapprove and then push it on to the UGC. At that point, then the process becomes, they'll provide the user consulting and then move forward to the next steps. Now, we've also found that there are questions about the workflow and the skip. So the SWIC and I have started putting together flow diagrams so everyone understands how the workflow works and where they are in the process. So it's a lot more visual and a lot easier for people to understand. Beyond that, we're working on a new some social media updates to make sure that you're getting more information, at least if you like to watch Facebook or watch Twitter rather than the newsletters. We're going to try and make sure that those are integrated a little bit more. The app summit and the deployable summit that we talked about, we're putting on hold until we have a decision on FirstNet for the state. And that would be, for the most part, my update, unless anyone has any questions.
For the second phase with the user group consulting goes back to the entity, right?
I'm sorry?
So the second phase of the form, so you got the initial form, comes to us, we push it, then the consulting team comes out to the entity again, logs back into their portal, right?
Yep.
And then fills out another form and answering them and questions about number of radios, consoles, towers, all that's all in that, going to be in that information, so they can take that back then to the committee to approve or disapprove, right?
That's what we've discussed. Once we
Okay.
get that completed, yes.
Okay.
This will serve as a portal. We believe that the portal route would make the best sense, keeps all the data in one place. It allows us control. And then Chair Buffington had also requested that maybe at some point we show who's joined or where they are in the process with a little map. And I said, you know, if I get the prioritization and I get the approval, of course we can talk about that. But because of the way I built the site, it will allow for those types of manipulations, so that, you know, when people want to check and see who's already on, who's starting the process, and all of those types of things, those capabilities can be built. I did build it in keeping those things in mind, as well as when the email comes out to the MOA. So if you see something on the email and you're like, well, I'm not sure if that's how I self-identify with the MOA, because I built the agency disciplines based on the MOA as well as CASM, so that all this data would also work for CASM as well. I was trying to hit as many birds with one stone, and let me tell you, I'd lined up as many as I could for this process. And so you'll see when you click on these, they'll say public safety, or it may say public service. Now, the reason why they say those things is because of the MOA, and that's how the forms were developed. If you have questions or concerns about how you were labeled, please talk to us. This is the web form. In real life, we can make adjustments at the board's discretion, but I wanted to make sure no one got caught up on, hey, why does mine say this? Especially with, DOT is a special entity in which they have a law enforcement portion as well as, the highway portion. So I wanted to make sure everyone knew the reasoning and why it says what it says. Any questions?
Sean, if you put multiple agencies in there,
Yep.
will it populate later on about who else you define who those multiple agencies are?
That's a great question. So the way it works is, as you see right now, I have multiple agencies. As you see, I have multiple agencies selected. So, for example, you're the emergency manager. If they've tasked you with submitting, because you have to have the MOA, you have to have the letter of intent from each agency to join the ISICS platform. So it's almost better for each agency themselves to submit the application. If you want to take that upon yourself and submit all at once for your county, it wasn't really built with that intent. Can it do it? Yes, it can. You would just upload multiple documents. But what happens is there's the disconnect of you will be the contact for all of those as far as the portal's concerned. So those entities, so for example, let's say it's a PD, that entity won't have direct access into the portal to access their stuff because you submitted it for them. And so that's where the disconnect may occur, because the portal was on a one-to-one basis. You will submit for yourself. You will self-identify. You will submit your letter of intent. You will submit your MOA. So it can, but it's not really the intent of how it would be used, because communication is critical, and making sure that we have that agency contact. If you listed multiple agency contacts in the site too, right now it only allows for one additional agency contact. So the main thing was, do we have a point of contact to make sure that if we have a question, if there's a problem, and with that one-to-one relationship that maintains that communications path, it's clear. We have at least 1 to 2 persons in our system immediately when you apply. Where if you apply for multiple agencies, that one-to-one connection isn't there. So my concern would be updates or any other news that we may need to push to you concerning the ISICS platform. The system isn't necessarily built optimally for that scenario.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Sean, when will it be live?
It'll be live as soon as you tell me green light go. We've been testing it with the Interops Bureau. I've asked plenty of the people there to try it out. I'm confident that it works. the way that it delivers the email is very readable. Chair Lampy has seen multiple emails. As he's told me, he's seen all 100 tries that we were doing July 3rd. So we've been testing and retesting and retesting. But I wanted this to be so easy for, one, the user. I want the agencies to be like, hey, Sean, this was a no-brainer, thank you. Thank you for making life easier. Thank you for not bobbing us through 20 different steps. And if there is a problem, I'm the guy to talk to, I'll fix it. Or at least I'll take it into consideration, whatever problem that you had. Because the forcing of the password was for security concerns. I wanted to make sure that I could make it easier for you to log in, but to complete the process, I also have to force you to change your password. Otherwise, I don't know what could be. You know, none of this stuff is top secret or classified or it's relatively basic stuff that you share in your board meetings. But I wanted to make sure that my intent was ease of use. That was really it. And I chopped it up so that it was very breadcrumb trail, easy, step by step. But if there is a problem or you have a concern or you encounter something that could be improved upon, I reworded several things just based on somebody said, hey, could you make it say, thank you for submitting, go to check your email. And we did that. So I'm definitely open to suggestions.
So is it a link? And if it's a link, where would it be on our website to access it?
I will post that as soon as you green light me. I will post it so that everybody knows, and then I will begin including it in the newsletter. I'll make it as easy to find as possible. And then this website is not meant to replace the current site. That's why it's in all black. It's just meant to serve as the ISICS process flow to get you through the forms to help make that easier. So that's all this website is for. I don't want anyone to think that this is to replace the board website. This is just strictly to provide you an easy platform just to walk through the ISICS joining.
Does it self-correct itself for missing fields if they forgot to fill something in?
It does display an error message that says you forgot to input one of the required fields.
All right.
But it should make, hopefully, Chair Buffington's life a lot easier because the email comes in with 2 attachments. When they click on submit, so after they register and they log back in, they fill out those 2 items, the letter of intent and the MOA, they attach them, and when they click on submit, it goes to IowaNet, and then all Tom or Chair Leonard have to do is forward it to you and say, we're good with this, please evaluate. And so I really tried to make it as easy as I could for both sides of the equation.
Does it pick up that they didn't attach the MOA and the letter of intent? If not, I would ask that be put in there because I could see that happening.
It's extremely difficult to do that, and here's the reason why. Whatever you name, so the first thing is I would have to create a naming standard and you would have to name the document. And so if people named it anything outside of the standard that I would require them, then it would kick it out. So that would be one thing. It would add additional logic overhead that we would have to take into consideration because right now I built it so that even if they took a picture or they scanned it and it was PDF name 12345.pdf and they clicked on upload, I really don't care what it's called. But if we get it and we check that the attachment's not the correct attachment, then we'll of course have to contact you and say, you know, hey, you might have to refill that out and then resubmit it. But otherwise, the logic for something like that would take quite a bit of considerable time and effort, unless we were going to create a naming standard. But then I would also have to enforce the type of file it was, because we'd have to say, are you uploading a Word document, uploading a PDF, uploading an image file? It really, the site doesn't care right now for ease of use purposes as well as cost efficiency. Creating that additional logic would require more time and effort.
Looks great.
Thank you.
Thanks
I've
for the
got a
hard work.
question. Where is it going to be on our website? I
It'll be a
missed
link.
it.
It'll
Yeah,
be a
but
link.
where?
What page?
I will probably put it under the radio. I will put it on the radio, and then I will also put it wherever else makes good logical sense, and then as well as in the newsletter.
Could you put a big join button right on the front?
I can totally put a big.
I think our website, I struggle.
Yeah,
Make
otherwise-
it really,
Well,
really
if you
easy.
see, Ethan, if you go back here, this website has 8 buttons. 2 of them connect directly back to our site for forms and calendar. As you see, there's a big join button. And that join button will be a process flow, and then there will be a registration button. I made this, as you can see, there's nothing complicated. There's nothing more than one word for each icon.
So could you pull up the Isicsb website while you got there?
Sure.
Could we put it in, like we're at Mission Radio, FirstNet Data, could we just create another one that says join, right in front of you, join? Is that what you're asking? That'd be easy, would that be?
Well, okay, so
Yeah,
working
join
with the
Isicsb.
state has made us aware of their process. I can put up my website tomorrow and put links out there for you immediately. Going through the OCIO and those offices, this will probably take about a month or longer. So I'm just being realistic. It will take a whole lot longer for us to implement this way. Whereas I can put another link on. So if we clicked on the radio page, I could put a big button right there at the top that says join, way faster than going through and then have them modify the front page.
So it'd be hard to change the land mobile radio interoperability in Iowa. Join.
Right here.
Add the word. That's what you're saying is hard to change. That's there.
I'm saying that they have a lot longer process and turnaround to
Can you
make
put
that happen.
can you put the join right under the radio? Yeah, click to join, then put the link right there.
They can do whatever we ask. I'm just saying the timeline.
Oh, you can't do that, they have to do that.
That is correct.
You
So,
could put links in, but they have to change the face.
on this portion, they typically are the ones who make those changes.
Is there a cost to that?
I would assume yes. Based on what we've experienced in the past, it's kind of a process, which is why I created the alternate site.
Well, I don't see a month as a big deal, but eventually I'd like to get there, would you?
Okay.
Yep.
We can do that.
On. If we're looking at a location for a button, if you scroll back up to the top of the Isicsb website, the one thing I noticed that's consistent in appearance on every page so far is the top row where it says Home About News, Services, Resources, and Contact. Why not put the join button right there so it's front and center, top, easy to see, and then appears on every page? Because I'm assuming that's just part of some style sheet that's referenced on every page and shows up everywhere.
Is that a CIO job, or can you do that?
I'll have to look into it. Typically anymore with the website and what they've required of us, any code changes that are beyond a basic upload or that type of thing, I've been very cautious. I think that putting a menu item would be very easy. And in honesty, it would also allow us to say join, and then you could put 2 sub under here, one that says ISICS and one that says FirstNet. You know, in the future, anything that we wanted to join, we could just put there. And I think that would totally fulfill what you're asking for and hopefully still make it very easy. And we're only spending 3 words, join, ISICS, FirstNet. And we can always add more. I like to keep it super simple. We can add, you know, if there's more things for us to join, we can always put it under there, but keeping it simple is what I'm all about. So if that's something you want, I can totally, you know, send a message. I think that may make it through in under 30 days, but based on my experiences, the process tend to, I built that whole site in 2 weeks with testing. So my turnaround time and I don't have to go through as many loops and hoops and.
So if we wanted to put it on tomorrow, where would you or the board suggest you put it until we get the radio button on there?
Well, do we
By
want to
looking
do
at
both, or do you want to do just the join at the top? Okay.
Get something on there right away as soon as possible, then work through your process.
The join button on the top, I would hope that it would not take very long at all. I would put through a request as we normally do. We have to submit a request. And then I would also submit an email to Lee Hood, who's been our primary contact. In all honesty, in real life, this is a 15-minute job. That's how long it would take me to do it in real life, but in state life, it's
30 days
It's a
then?
30-day job. So I just wouldn't want to set the bar too high. I don't want you to think that I know how long it takes me. I don't want to set expectations, as I'll have to go through the politics of making sure it's correct.
Well, in the meantime, as soon as we give him the go-ahead, the outreach will start outreaching with all the information. So, yeah, let me know exactly what you want me to send out.
No problem.
Okay,
Any other questions?
good work, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Okay.